Joining us now is Sowunmi, who is a PDP member and former governorship candidate in Ogun State, to talk about developments within the PDP. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you.
Welcome to Newsnight.
It's nice to be here. Es ist so gut, euch zu sehen.
Dankeschön. It's been good to be here.
We're speaking some German before coming on air. Right? From all indication, it looks like the PDP, your party, is finally finding its groove with the meeting, with the reconstituted Governors Forum. Tell us more about that and the high points of that meeting today, first off.
Well, thank you for inviting us. I think PDP is always in the groove. That's why we're the party that is mostly discussed. We thank God for how far we've gone. We know that the members of the Nigerian public can date PDP to this the democratic journey. We've been around since '98. Our Governors Forum, we were the one that started it. Others have copied, and we have also been very consistent. After they win election and people get sworn in, governors really get busy to form cabinet and stabilize their states. So they couldn't have been jumping into meetings. But even at that, they've had one meeting in Bauchi, the very first meeting, which was a bit expanded, and where the leadership of the Governors Forum emerged, with the governor of Bauchi State now becoming chairman of the Governor Forum, and the governor of River State becoming his deputy. Today's meeting, obviously, is one of the statutory meetings they have, and like you will see, the communique, I'm sure it's been shared, one of the things that they've agreed is, first, they've agreed that they want to work together. Why that is important is because of the immediate past conversation, which seemed to suggest that perhaps there isn't that much unity. And they've said very firmly that there is unity and they will work very much together. They also tried to say to the federal government that security issues in Zamfara and Benue State is a serious issue and needs a lot of attention. And then they talked about a bit of the economy and the need for the government that they would do opposition work, responsibly like we've always done. So
okay. So what you're saying, just to cut in there, I mean, since you talk about the decision to do opposition work the way it should be done, are you saying that the PDP is now ready to provide the kind of opposition that Nigerians need and deserve? Is that to say that maybe the PDP is realizing that, it may not get its way at the courts?
No.
The PDP is in court.
No.
Okay.
No. First of all, you know that for us to be in court, it must mean we have serious issues with that election and how it's conducted. Because it is sub judice, people don't want to talk about it much. Luckily, the cases have been, all the arguments are in. They're probably going to do their final written argument. So we're almost about exiting that. But notwithstanding what the outcome of the court is, the country is moving. Somebody is sitting down in the villa as president according to the constitution and the practice in the country. So even in the meantime, PDP must do what they need to do. And part of the thing they need to do is assume the role of opposition for now. And if they get the type of favorable judgment that everybody expects, then obviously we know what will happen. And if they don't, because it's a court case, you have to wait until they read the judgment. They're just saying to the effect that we will be here, we will be responsible, and we'll always constantly speak to the issues of the country like we've always done.
Okay, speaking to the issues of the country, hold your thoughts. Don't forget your line of thoughts.
No, I won't.
Let's take a break, but we'll continue this chat when we return. Stay with us. You're still watching Newsnight. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We still have Sowunmi with us, a chieftain of the PDP, talking to us about the party. Now, item 3 in that communique talks about the insecurity in Nigeria, and then your party is calling on the federal government to rise to the occasion and bring the situation under control. Some would say that the PDP for 16 years couldn't achieve that, what they're now asking of the APC, because recall that insecurity didn't just start in Nigeria. What's your position on this?
I think you must be very careful of what you call the single narrative argument.
Okay.
The single narrative argument is the type of argument that an opposition party, then called APC, will push to the table to win an election. They can't stay on that type of stupid argument 8 years down the line. Because
hang on, why we appreciate your position. We'll like you to
tone it down a bit.
No, not just tone down. To let's keep the language as decent as
decent as it can be. You can't come after 8 years plus and pretend as if you're going to 1999. That's that. The second thing is that you must map the security challenges in the country. The tip of it for PDP at the peak was the one that was confined to the northeast region at the height of Boko Haram and the insurgency. And we had started to climb out of that. I'm not sure that you have much carelessness on the table in the years of PDP, with the North Central being in trouble, with the Southeast having to do sit at home forever, with the Southwest dealing with the issues, with the South-South dealing with bunkering and all of that. Look, we are all citizens of this country. And democracy, in my opinion, is about contending argument, all for the good of the country. But if any political party will insist, and if journalists will help them to insist, that the conversation around governance responsibility after 2 terms of 8 years, including the heights that they are on now, which we have not even resolved in court, that their explanation for every time people call them out to do their duty would always be, oh, you were there before. That's silly to be said. The fact is, there are challenges now. They're forming government. They've not completely formed it. All the ministers are not in place. You don't expect the leadership of opposition party, knowing fully well that people are dying in Zamfara, people are dying in Benue, to come to a forum and not pay attention to that or call for attention on that. The same way you would not expect them to know that there are 3-term elections coming up in Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo, and looking at what we now know based on the kind of integrity quotients that people have towards the last election. The least they could say is that please confirm and make sure there will be integrity. Because if opposition party must go to bed knowing fully well that that process will not have integrity, then everybody will go to self-help.
Is the PDP trusting of the INEC right now? I mean, considering the perception of how INEC handled the presidential elections. I mean, you're going to Kogi, Imo, and what's other? Yeah.
And Bayelsa.
And Bayelsa, of course, around November. Is PDP confident that INEC will live up to its billing?
INEC no longer has the ability to tell us anything that we believe, because much was said before the 2023 election that all of Nigerians believe, and you know how they performed on that. Ironically, the way our laws are, it always seems as if there's no consequence on INEC and the leadership of INEC for the things around the election. It's always the losers and the winners that still go to court, and INEC just comes and pretend as if it was not the one that created the mess. So going to the next set of elections, our leaders are saying, yes, election is going to come up in this location. We have a democratic responsibility and an obligation to participate and be there, but we have to tell INEC that, tell us, should we not waste our time? So we can then tell the whole world that democracy is not working in Nigeria, and therefore we want out of it. Because there's no point in us holding the short end of the stick all the time.
Well,
what
we
we're
can't
asking
even talk
for,
about wanting out of it.
yes, of course we can want out of it.
But before we let you go,
let me just land
very quickly
on that thought. What we demand is a process that has integrity, is fair, is equitable, is just. We don't need to do an election and we'll be arguing, we don't know, did we win, did they win, was it rigged, was it not rigged? It can't be better than that.
Right.
This is a country that runs Vibe, where you take your credit card to Zamfara and pick money and it works. If you can run a system of money that has integrity, there's no justification for running an election system without integrity.
Absolutely. What's your personal assessment so far of Tinubu's administration?
God bless you for this. This is liberish. Now, what we see from our side is that the Bola Tinubu presidency is starting on a very wrong footing of lopsidedness.
Why do you say so?
I'll tell you. They have there's somebody in the there's somebody in CBN from one particular ethnic group. There's somebody in custom from one particular ethnic group. There's somebody now they've done their, appropriation, from one particular ethnic group. Even the public's account, which traditionally is for the main opposition party, so that the people that are doing appropriation are not the ones doing public account. They have also gone on to pretend as if they don't know that the PDP is the main opposition. So you can almost follow the money and almost get the impression that they are creaming out all of the good things for the people of their tribe. And the hypocrisy in it is that these were people who were screaming blue mother when the former President Muhammadu Buhari was setting up his cabinet. But people are careless and not seeing that almost all of the where the cream is, or where the financing is, where the budget appropriation is, where the money income is going into that same. So I think that for us, we think that extreme vigilance is the hallmark of democracy, and there is no way as PDP people would allow any section of this country to be shortchanged.
You know what? You spent so much time analyzing the nascent administration of Bola Tinubu. So we don't have time to let you talk about your chances in Imo, Bayelsa.
We
must just say thank you for coming to
Windows election fair and square. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.